What's up, everybody? All right, got another one for you. This one is Silent Night. I have some serious thoughts about this, and I think the marketing was not really done really well to serve this movie. Um, Gosh, man, I really wanted to like this movie, but I didn't, and I have thoughts on it. So, that being said, let's get into it. Here we go. All right, Silent Night, and I'm a little bit, I don't know, disappointed, I guess. And it's not that I had my expectations, because I always say leave that shit at the door. But when the marketing kind of puts it out there like a John Woo taken kind of movie, you kind of want to see those elements, right? And I think that the marketing did this movie very, very bad by suggesting, all this thing. And I have this theory that, like, one, if you have to over advertise your movie, or two, you have to say from the same people that brought you X movie, this movie, that movie, or produced by this movie by the same people that did this movie, that movie, it's probably gonna suck. And I should have probably heeded my own theory. Like, I should have heeded my own warning before going in to see this movie. Now, that's not to say that people are not gonna like it. I can see people saying that this is a pretty good movie, because it's not terrible. It's just I didn't like the movie. It's poorly marketed in that it kind of gives you. And I watched the trailer before making this video again, just to make sure that, like, I kind of had this feeling. I kind of felt that it was gonna be not a Christmas movie, but, like, how they say Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, but it's got like all the kablooies and the bullets and all that stuff. I kind of felt that it was gonna be that. I mean, at least you felt that it was, in the Christmas time, the Christmas spirit and all that stuff. But in this one, they go all out and they advertise, like the Christmas ugly sweater and the backgrounds in the trailer, the ho 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 music and all this stuff. But it doesn't feel like it's Christmas. And not that that's a big thing. I know I'm making a kind of a big shit out of that. I think the marketing for me was just really bad. And that's just like one part of it. Another part of it is, and I should have known better, this movie literally has little to no words spoken. And I'm not even joking with that. At the very beginning, you see it in the trailer. And that's another thing. The trailer gives away a lot of the cool parts, and that's another thing that the marketing did wrong for this movie. But you see it in the trailer. The guy gets shot in the throat, and he just can't speak. So the whole movie, there's no speaking basically. I mean, there's ambient noise. There's cars screeching. There's all that good stuff. But there's no dialogue. And literally, when I was walking out, I heard a woman say that her biggest bone to pick with this movie was that just because he couldn't talk didn't mean that nobody else could talk. And while I understand the creativeness of that and doing a movie that way, for me it suffered deeply, because there was nothing to keep you, I guess, directed as the movie went on. It kind of felt that, like, when 5 minutes passed by, it felt like 30 minutes passed by, and you kind of just find yourself looking at your watch saying, where are we at in this movie? When is it going to end? Kind of thing. And that's not to say that the action wasn't good. The action was so. It was okay. I did like some things about it and some bad things. So some of the good things I did like about it, like I said, some of the action was okay. The fighting really was done in a style that is not professional, and that served this movie really well. And what I mean by that is, we see movies like John Wick where he's a trained assassin and all of his moves are just calculated and badass, right? This one, this guy, he's just a normal guy that's trying to avenge his son's death, and you get all this from the movie. I mean, from the trailer. I'm not spoiling anything from the movie, and that's what it is. It's just really this guy that loses his son that trains himself through YouTube videos to go take on this gang mob, I guess. And so when he fights like a person that's kind of like, gonna make mistakes and doesn't really know what he's doing. He throws up after he kills somebody. That's just, adding to that element that he's just a regular guy. He's not a guy that's known, death or actually thinks about these kind of things. So that aspect I really liked about this movie. The story was okay. I wouldn't say it's like a story we've never seen before, because honestly, what I really thought, because of the trailer and because of how it was advertised, I thought it was gonna be kind of a John Wick movie. Now, that's not to say that I went in expecting a John Wick movie. I just kind of thought it was, because in John Wick 1, he has that kind of like, that montage where he's driving around his car in an open lot. Same thing with this, that shows in the trailer. And there's just some elements to it. Like in the trailer, they show a guy getting thrown through a glass. Like there are little elements that you can kind of relate to each other. But again, one of the things that I liked was that it wasn't like a professional, choreographed. Like, I mean, this is choreographed, but it wasn't like done in a way where you see, the character. And that's another thing. They don't even say the character's name. His name is Brian. We know that through text. But you don't see Brian, acting like he's been doing this forever. So that part I really liked. Now, the ugly part that I didn't like, I kind of felt that this movie was everywhere. And what I mean by that is, like, it tried to do a lot of little things that I think kind of fell flat. And a large part of it was, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, because I don't want to take away from the creativity of just having a film that doesn't talk. I really wish that there was more dialogue to it. I was excited to see that Kid Cudi, Scott Mescudi, was gonna be in this movie, but he didn't speak. And it was just weird. The whole dynamic between, our protagonist Brian and Kid Cudi, the FBI agent. It's weird. They meet up at the end not knowing who they are, and then they're just kind of like looking at each other like, yeah, like go ahead, buddy, go ahead and kill her. So yeah, again, for me, I'm trying to lump this all into one. It just really tried to do a lot of little things, and it just fell flat. And with the lack of dialogue, it really made those things even worse. Another thing, and I know this part of me is getting nitpicky, but this is what happens when you don't have a good story. It was an okay story, but you don't have a good story coupled with, those other elements, right? You start kind of like nitpicking. And one of the things that I started nitpicking are, again, things that I didn't like are the audio matching up with either the gunfire or the exaggeration of things that go on. I'll give you an example. There's a scene where one of the extras punches a woman, but the sound sounds off. Like the sound of the punching sounds off, and also it sounds more dramatic than what was actually acted. So it's like I don't know how to explain it. Like a right, and then she's just like there's like little things like that kind of just added to the fuel that I was just kind of like, damn, I really want to like this movie, but I can't. So there's things like that for me that just kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. And gosh, man, like when I saw this trailer, I was really intrigued by it, because I thought it was gonna be like a what is it, Violent Night kind of thing, because of the way the marketing made it look. I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one that may have thought that way. I was really like hoping for some one-liners like "Christmas came early, bitch," or something like that. I don't know. Or like "Ho ho ho, motherfuckers." Just something ridiculous, because lately we've been getting some great holiday movies that are in the realm of like Die Hard, where you kind of question, is this a holiday film or is this just an action film? And I'm here for those films. I really love that Hollywood is actually taking liberties and creativities in that space. And I really thought, because of the trailer, it was that, and it wasn't. It was more dramatic than it was advertised. I will say this though. One of the things that I really, really liked about it was I'm not an actor by any means, but I can empathize, and I can put myself in somebody's shoes trying to act a movie simply through facial expressions. I think Kinnaman did a great job in expressing himself in certain scenes. Like you kind of really felt his pain, but again, without dialogue, that kind of like that sentiment just really stretched, and it felt like it was like, come on, okay, we get it, you know, you're crying over your dead son, and that sounds really terrible. But when you watch the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. But he does do a great job, right? I think he did an amazing job in his role, and you know, for me, he knocked it out of the park. It was just those other little things that, you know, as a whole, collectively, when you look at the movie, it just falls flat for me. And I honestly would probably give it a 5.5 out of 10. And I think that people might agree with me, but if you don't, it's okay. Like usual, I implore everybody to go to see the movies and develop an opinion for yourselves, and you know, reach out to me in the comments and let me know if you agree with me or not. I can see this movie being a cult classic, you know, maybe later on down the road, where people will pick it up on streaming and saying like, oh, this wasn't really that bad. And I think that's what this movie is. It's one of those movies where if you have nothing to watch, and you find yourself on your couch on a Saturday afternoon and you just want to throw something on, this would probably be that movie, and you might like it. For me, I think that it was probably should have been a straight to streaming movie. And I'm not saying that those kind of movies are bad, because there are some good ones. But again, for me, it just kind of fell flat and a little bit disappointing, but it's okay. You know, that's why we go see movies, you know, to have these experiences and to talk about them. So there you have it, guys. Joel Kinnaman, Scott Mescudi, you know, Silent Night. I will say though, hot take, Joel Kinnaman, if you don't know who he is, I think he played RoboCop, which was an amazing movie. That's my hot take. I fucking love that movie, so don't come for me. And he also did Rick Flag, I believe it was, in DC Suicide Squad. So he's a pretty good actor. He does a pretty good job in here. But again, it's all the other elements that kind of made it for me. So all right, guys, sorry to disappoint. If you wanted to watch this movie again, please go see it. Go make up your own you know, opinion on this movie, and come back and let's talk about it. So I don't know, I'm just kind of like, I'm still a little bit like a little, not defeated, I guess disappointed, because I love the actor and I love, you know, action and that kind of genre of holiday and action movie, and this just was not it. It was not. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Take it easy, have a great weekend, go see some movies, go check out Godzilla -1, go check out this one, and hit me up in the comments. All right, guys, have a good one, keep spreading that love, and we'll catch you next time. Laters.